Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special, I say every single time we have a special guest, but you are, Rita, a special guest.
Thank you.
We are actually on our third or our fourth season, I want to say, and this is now another New Jersey international run of beautiful women that are coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Rita-Ann Schmick. Everybody,
Thank you.
Round of applause. Thank you very much. So we have Rita-Ann, and I know that you're Miss 2022.
I am Ms. Woman.
What does that all mean? Ms. or Miss? MRS?
No, MS.
MS.
So actually I'm in a division that is more by age category.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of competing against women and sharing the stage with married women that are much younger than me, I chose to enter the 56 to 69-year-old age group so we can be married, widowed, or divorced. I am married.
So why isn't it MRS?
So because
did they leave that out?
They purposely left it out because there are some women who go by Ms. who are not necessarily married, whether their husband's deceased or they're divorced.
Or you're just doing that for those guys out there that might be interested.
Who knows? You just never know.
Jimmy, and I know Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Better watch out for this one. Okay, well, anyway, so I'm sorry. So you are now Miss. So I do a lot of research on a lot of the folks that come in. Now, like 10 years ago, you were Miss Petite. Is that such a thing?
It is a thing. So it's 5'4" and under.
So my wife could run.
Your wife totally could run,
wow.
And it's a wonderful thing to be surrounded by women who are like me, because society says that you should be tall and slender and blonde and
says the tall and
says
slender
the tall
and
yeah. You know, and everybody's idea of beauty is different, so I'm here to change that, to change the face of pageantry, to say that you could be a mature woman in your 50s. I'm a nona, so I have a beautiful granddaughter. I have 5 children.
Wow.
So yeah, so I can still be a beautiful woman and a valued member in my community.
So that's great. So how many people did you compete against?
In the woman
to win this title.
So I was granted this title to represent my county. So I will go against other women in the division. I don't know. I won't know until April.
Oh, I thought you ran already.
Yeah, no. So what you do is you make an application. Mm-hmm. And then you say where you're from, and then you dedicate your time and your energy to not only promoting where you're from and what your platform is and your social impact. And it's a great way to just tell people what you're passionate about and why.
So that brings us to this. So I saw you have a lot of passions. Let's talk about the first passion. Christmas. How many days till Christmas?
50.
I'm going to check that one.
No, it's a true story. It's true.
You are Christmas everything.
Yeah. I am
mackerel.
I have a tree up year round.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's on my back. I have a small tattoo of a decorated Christmas tree.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious.
Wow.
Christmas was really important growing up, and it was something that we could prepare for. We were very poor growing up, but my mom made it so wonderful, the advent of it, the preparation, decorating, although she would never decorate until after Thanksgiving because
like everybody else.
Yeah, no, it's my birthday. So
when, Thanksgiving?
The 26th. So this year it's the day after. But she would ask me, what do you want for your birthday this year? Can we put up the tree before? No. So I said when I grew up, I was going to put it up at midnight at Halloween.
On Halloween?
Yeah, so Halloween is
November
over.
1st.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Bam.
Doesn't
Christmas.
Disney do stuff like that?
It's a possibility. I don't know.
Wow. So that goes back years.
So it's, from a really long time ago.
Wow. So what makes Christmas your favorite holiday?
Well, the birth of Jesus. I am Christian, so that. But just because everybody's happy at that time, even when you're from, say, a situation that isn't great, it just always seems that is the uplift.
Yeah.
That sometimes just for a small, quiet minute, that everything's okay.
Yeah, I get it. Mine's Thanksgiving, but for the same or similar reasons. Mine's Thanksgiving because it's not denominational, and if you're in the States, of course. But nobody expects anything. Nobody expects a gift. There's no, oh, what did you get me? And I've got to return this tomorrow. But it's just family getting together, spending time with family. That's why I love Thanksgiving. So it's my favorite holiday.
Yeah,
but I can see you love Christmas.
I really do.
Is it true that you asked Jimmy to grow a beard to look like Santa?
So I did. I did.
That's a lot of research.
So that
by
is
the way.
yeah. So I did. He because we're together so long, I started out with black hair and he started out with hair.
With hair.
So he has no hair and I have white hair. So he had started to, like, during the pandemic, grow it a little bit, and I said, well, let's just see what it looks like, how much white it really is. And he looked like Santa. I'm like, just leave it. Oh my goodness. And he got it to, like, maybe around here, and then I was over it. You know, I was like, okay, yeah, no, now it's weird. But it was really awesome, and the fact that he did it was very kind. You know,
and that's great, and it looks like you guys do a lot together. And,
we do,
and it's all over like your Instagram. That's really great. How long have you been married?
So we're married 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been together 29. He married me. I had a little boy from a previous marriage, and so Michael is 33 and married and has our first grandchild, and then he and I had 2 biological children together. And then we adopted 2 children through the foster care system after we fostered some children and always helped in our community. I had a soft spot for single moms because I was a single mom, and you need good child care and you need a safe haven for these children to be. And I would say, well, I'll watch your child. Well, how much do you charge? It's whatever you can afford because I'm blessed to be able to be home. So let me help you.
Right, that's beautiful.
So that's kind of how it started.
So I'm going to get to your platform now, but I wasn't sure what your platform was. But I know, there's 2 things I know what it is, but ALS was one of them.
So I know somebody in my community, and he was a really big...
Al Manzo?
Al Manzo, yeah. He passed away.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
He did. And it's very sad. And his wife, Carol, is so wonderful. And I really just wanted to do something for my town. For
what
someone,
town is that?
Vernon, New Jersey.
I saw that, yeah.
And he was a man who started putting the ambulance corps together, and he really gave back to our community for so long. As a matter of fact, I had kidney stones, and I didn't know it was that, and he came to my house with the ambulance because I thought I was dying, and he was just so wonderful. And when he got sick, it really bothered me. And I decided that I was going to walk 100 miles. And I walked 100 miles way before I actually posted that I walked 100 miles. But I asked his wife to walk with me, and we did the last lap together.
Wow.
And so that was just because that he did so much for our community. He deserves something done for him.
So could you just educate me? How do you just develop ALS? Is that something that you're born with?
So that, honestly, I don't know, and I couldn't even tell you because it's not something that I researched. I just knew that I needed to do something for him.
I see.
He happened to have, Lou Gehrig's disease.
Wow, that's tough. I know there's a famous guitar player, Marty Friedman, who's been going through this for years, probably 25 years. He was a prodigy, and he was supposed to be like the guitar player that played with David Lee Roth when he left Van Halen. And that's when he was diagnosed. Now he's been in a wheelchair. He could just basically breathe through a tube, hoping that there's going to be a cure. Is there anything close to a cure?
I don't think so. I don't. And, I just think that everybody's given a path and a journey, and there is purpose for it, and I don't know why. And yes, it took his life, but...
How old was he, if you don't mind me asking?
He was a little bit older than me, probably like 57, 58. He was not
young.
He was not old, not old at all. So, yeah.
So you guys raised almost $100,000.
So, overall.
Right.
All the people who did the 100 miles, that was a lot of money to raise for awareness. And I've met some really nice people, and I follow a girl, Sunny, on Instagram, and she's in a wheelchair, and she's so positive, and it's, to me, it's just like, no matter what you're given, you have to take it and not make it bitter and make it better.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, Rita.
Yeah, like the windshield in front of you is so big for a reason, so you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
The rear view mirror, it's so small.
That's a great
Yeah, you don't need to
point.
look back. Just keep going forward.
I got to use that.
Just go right ahead.
And it was said first by Rita-Ann.
No, actually, I took it from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
I can't even pretend that. Yeah.
So then we'll talk into your platform then. Your platform, I think, is foster care, isn't that right?
So it is. It's Open Your Heart, Open Your Home. It's to bring foster care awareness to the state of, to our county, the state of New Jersey.
Sussex County, you represent?
Sussex County, yeah. So my husband and I were friends with a married couple who fostered. And I was intrigued, and I said to the wife, I don't think I could do that. She's like, why? And I said, I don't think I could give the child back. And she's like, Reet, you could, because when the time comes, you will just know.
So wait, but now I would say the same thing. I'm in your shoes now. If you're with a child and you're watching them go from 4 to 18?
So usually you only get about an 18-month span with them.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. So they either go up for adoption, or they go back to their birth parents or their family members.
So can you adopt them?
You can.
You
yeah.
can.
So that's how I got...
so we were forced to... And
yeah.
then you wow.
Yeah. So I always said, if I was meant to have a daughter, because I had 3 sons, and if I was meant to have a daughter, God would put one on my doorstep. And that's what he did.
Wow.
And he was smart enough, because I was a boy mom, to give me a daughter, but soften the blow by giving me her brother as well.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a sibling group of 4, and we...
Wait, a sibling group of... So it's 2 more.
So there's 2 more. They're older girls that they were adopted by other families.
Wow.
But we stayed in close contact, and it's wonderful.
How long did you have them for?
So we got them in February of 2011, and the adoption was final June 11th, 2014.
Wow, that long. 3 years to do that.
It was a really long time. There was, unfortunately, their mom had passed away of an overdose.
Oh, my God.
And right early on in the process.
So you knew that it wasn't going back to the foster mom, that these 2 children were going...
Yeah, I knew that they wouldn't. Well, the whole plan was that the mom was going to get all her ducks in a row, if you will.
Right.
And she was doing a really, really great job.
So you keep in touch with the mom?
So she's passed away now.
No, I know, but at the time...
Yeah,
that
so
must
we
have
had
been
a
so
we had
difficult.
it was not.
No?
I had a composition notebook, and I would write, this is what the kids did this week, and these are the challenges that we had. And then she would tell me about her week and her challenges and what she could overcome. And I just kept being like her biggest cheerleader. And I said to her, I don't want your kids. I want you to do what you need to do to get them back. And I want to be the cool Aunt Rita.
Wow.
And then unfortunately, she passed away. And it wasn't something that, of course, nobody plans to overdose. But it was, she just actually had taken a pain reliever that didn't mix with the medication that she was already on. And it gave her a heart attack. So it was, but it was the first time in DCP&P, which was called DIFUS, the history of somebody having children in care and them passing away. So kind of like it was a learning curve.
So that must have been a shock to the kids.
It was a shock.
The kids are probably like, I can't wait to go home to mom.
Yeah.
And then mom's gone.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
So my daughter was just 4.
That's what I was going to... How old?
And Jack Edward was 6. Because we got them at 3 and 5.
Wow.
So when we told them, Olivia kind of laughed because she was a little kid. She didn't understand. And, the big girls ran away. But Edward looked at my husband and said, Daddy, does this mean I can stay forever? Well, that was about...
He called Jimmy Daddy.
Yeah. Daddy, does this mean I can stay forever? And he's like, yeah, bud. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At what point did they call you mom?
So right out of the gate. So I have never wanted anybody to call me mom unless they felt comfortable. And he was crying, and he wouldn't take off his coat because he wasn't staying. So he's sitting at my dining room table having a snack, and he's sobbing, and he says, what's your name again? And I said, my name is Rita-Ann, but you can call me Rita, you can call me Aunt Rita, you can call me Sissy, whatever is going to be easier for you. What do you want to call me? And he looked at me and he goes, Mommy. And I went, okay.
On the first day?
The first day. 3 hours in.
Oh my God.
3 hours in. And I said, okay, buddy. And he wore that jacket. He slept in
that was his security.
His security. Right? He wasn't staying. So he would fall asleep.
This is an amazing story, Rita. You're going straight to heaven, by the way.
Yeah, I don't.
Right to heaven. Gabriel, I'll just let her in. That's right. Gabriel, just let her in.
So I always believe that God puts people in your path. So what I didn't say, because it doesn't matter to me, my children are of mixed race. And there are some things that I just don't understand. But before my children came, God gave me this woman.
Salon?
Yeah. Because she has navigated me through stuff that I would never understand.
How do you know each other?
A very first beauty pageant about 13 years ago. We were competing on the same stage in a different system.
And you became friends, and look at that. And you got beautiful. If we could get the camera on you, I don't think we have a camera. But so you met 13 years ago. So how did she help you with the? So
we stayed friends. Like we competed. She went on to nationals because she won, and
we got a winner. Wow!
So we just stayed in contact. And my number 2 and number 3 children were friends with her number 1 and number 3. And then I started fostering, and we started talking, and it just evolved. And I found out that she's just as crazy with Christmas as I am.
No tattoos on your back.
No. But so we just had this love for Christmas, and then the children came, and I went to an event, and I brought my daughter, and I said, this is my little girl.
What's her name?
Olivia.
Olivia. Mm-hmm.
And so I had some questions and didn't know what was, as you would say, politically correct.
Because, I'm sorry, what do you mean?
I'm Caucasian. Mm-hmm. So there's some things am I allowed to say that? How do I do this? What do I do that? And as an African-American woman and mother, she was able to navigate helping me parent mixed-race children. She helped.
I would think it's the same.
It is not. And you know what? I know people are out there going, yeah, it is. You know what? Not until you're sitting over here.
What is it? So that's what you're here for, because this is going to be your platform, and we're going to use this
to educate
my platform. People.
So
what's different?
A lot. How people treat people. You know, people look.
Well, I'm thinking parenting. So parenting's got to be the same.
So my children, unfortunately, come with some stuff. I hate the word baggage. I don't want to use that. Come with some challenges. And I need to help them navigate not only through their challenges, but also to have them feel that they're a sense of our home, our community.
Right.
But I live in an area where there is very little African American. It's more so now than it was, say, in 2000.
Right.
However, people treat people differently, and it's hard, and it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful. I know what it's like because I'm short and I'm curvy, and people will say, well, you shouldn't because, or why would you want, you know.
Was it difficult for your other children, your biological children?
So when we started fostering, we had a young girl. She literally came in, bags, went into her room and went like this and unpacked and like literally threw everything around.
It's my daughter.
This is
could have been my daughter.
Could have been, you know. And she came out and she was walking past, like in the kitchen, and our family room stairs come up. And my son, the number 3 son, was on his way up. And she goes, "Are you a foster kid?" And he goes, "Nah, I'm a regular kid." And she goes, "You want to go out and play?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Wow, it was that easy.
How old was she? So at that time, she was just turned 10.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did you go with her?
So she was my 30-day kid, stayed 9 months.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
So 30 days, they told me, she's only going to be here 30 days. She's a transition. They wanted
what does
to.
that mean? I'm learning so
that's
much.
Okay. So she was in another foster home, and they needed to rehome her because the situation was not good where she was. So they separated the children, and she came to me, and they said, "Listen, she's only going to stay 30 days because the biological parents want the siblings together, so we're just looking for a home that can take both." And that's a real hard thing, to take a sibling group. And it's only 2. So you can only imagine that right now the 85 families that are in care in my county have multiples between 2 and 7 children. And they really want to keep the children together. So when it came time, I literally packed her entire room back up because she was leaving the next day. And DCP&P called me and said, that household didn't pan out. Can you keep her? And I said, sure. And it was 9 months by the time the parents were able to do what they needed to do and go through their therapy and whatever they needed to do to be able to get her back.
Do you still speak to her?
So surprisingly, I always knew where she was, but she was a little girl. She was 4th grade. And we always said, this is home. You can always come back here. I ran into her on my daughter's birthday a few years ago when she was a senior in high school. This other girl was a senior in high school. And she was our waitress. And she looked at me and I said her name. And she goes, "Mom." And she never called me mom but twice the whole time. And the last time was the day she left. So we hugged, we cried. She gave me her contact information. She ended up needing a place to stay. And I worked with the law guardian, and it was best for her to be someplace else. And my sister-in-law actually took her and had her for 3 years. And now is Anthony a junior? Yeah, so I think she's a junior at Montclair State.
Wow, and what is she doing?
So she's studying. She wants to be something in research for medicine.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it has not, again, you have to take your past and, yes, you have to learn from it. You're going to carry some things from it, but let it better you.
Right, absolutely.
And not bitter you.
That's a great way to put it. I'm gonna ask you a question because I'm thinking out so many different questions for you. You accept somebody and they come into your home. What happens with medical and Medicare and benefits and
Such a great question. Thank you so much for asking. The state of New Jersey does not want this to be a financial burden for you.
Oh, I was going to say, because I know Murphy kills everything these
days. So the state of New Jersey does not want this to be a financial burden for you. So they get Medicaid, and they get, if they're under 3, actually it's under 5, they get a thing called WIC.
Okay.
The parents, the foster family or the foster parents, it's now called resource parents, get a stipend from the state, which is essentially child support for you to get the child what they need. Because sometimes they're taken in the middle of the night, and they might come to your home in pajamas and no socks.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. So if it's a bad situation where there's like abuse or drugs or whatever, the authorities will get the papers from the judge, and the caseworker and a lot of times the police go to the home and remove the child. And you can
This is terrible.
It is terrible, but
thank God there's people like you in the world. But it's terrible for the kids.
So understand this: it is terrible, But it's probably more terrible to be in that situation.
100%.
Right?
And to have people like you is just a blessing, but you're right. But
So they come in and they literally, like, the social workers will take the child, the police are holding back the parents, because it's chaotic.
Oh my
so
God.
that leads us to, the workers taking garbage bags and just going like this and taking whatever they can for the child, because the chances are that child is not going to go back for a long while. So let's get as much stuff for that child that we can.
I'm sorry. Who facilitates that? Once you take
DCP&P, which is DIFUS, yeah.
They'll come in with the cops, take everything.
Yes.
I'm just thinking mentally what it does to a child at like 6, 5, 4, whatever it is. That's something that
It's scary.
Yeah.
You can't get past it, and you'll never know it. You just won't. And Olivia, fortunately, she doesn't remember at 3 years old. Edward remembers.
Yeah.
And
How old is Edward right now?
he will be 16 this month.
And he's still living with you.
He's my son.
Oh,
I
he's your
adopted
son?
him.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So what we decided, once we adopted, we knew that we would, what you would call, close our home, that we would no longer be open to having more children. So, because at that point now I'm older, and I knew that it was the rest of my life. But how could we help?
Yeah.
So that was, okay, doing pageantry, I can get the word out there. I have been blessed to talk to a lot of people. I have gotten women on board. But what the kids and I decided to do, which there is a national campaign, but we took it one step further, and we call it Bags for Buddies. So basically, we collect new duffel bags, at least like about this big, with no logo, because that becomes a problem with people fighting. Oh, I want the
rock out loud.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So we have collected over 100 bags already, and we donate them to our local DCP&P, our local agency, even though it's a state agency. Then this way, when they go and remove a child, the child has a bag, that you're not putting their stuff in a black garbage bag, sending a wrong message. It's saying your stuff is not worth anything, you're garbage.
Yeah, that's, wow, that's exactly
So
right.
so we have collected over 100 bags, and it got a little slow because they were trying, the agency was trying to keep the children, kinship guardianship, like with their family members, maybe a grandma, whatever. So it would be easier to navigate and keep, the family healing. Unfortunately, a lot of times this is generational.
Yeah.
It is very sad. However, the cycle can be broken. I told the birth mom, her name is Amy, and I said,
The woman
Amy,
that passed away?
Yeah. I said, Amy, you know what? I'm not a better mom. I'm a different mom, and I want to help you. I said, your children, the children in care, they're our future. Think about it.
You're right.
They're the next
100%,
generation.
yeah.
They are our future. So if I'm the flashlight, let's get them down to the tunnel, There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Let me just be your flashlight and get you there. My life, my home, it's normal for me because it's husband and wife with children.
Right.
But for somebody else, it could be a same-sex couple. It could be a single mom. A good friend of ours, she used to nanny for us. She is now a single mom, a foster mom who's in the middle of an adoption. And, it doesn't matter, because if you have that love to give, why not give it? Open your home, open your heart, even if it's just for a small season.
Yeah.
Do that, because there are so many children. There's over 100,000 right now in America, or more. I cannot tell you the exact number, that are children waiting for adoption, and chances are they're going to age out before they get adopted.
Where do they go at 18?
So pretty much figure it out. It's sad. So there are women and men who are social workers who are getting ready to retire, who want to start programs for that type of situation. A lot of times, you would hope that they have gone to college. If they go to a state school, they can go to college at no charge.
That's great.
Yeah. And like I said, the state doesn't want it to be a financial burden for you.
Wow, that's
so
fantastic.
our adoption was fully facilitated by the state. We had a great attorney, and we went in, and we just really became, it was really more of a technicality. The judge said, "You're already a family, I can tell." And let the kids bang the gravel, and it was awesome.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. What does Jimmy think? Because this has got to be a partnership, right?
So in the beginning, we were not on the same page, which was fine. So it was about 2 years. And then a friend of ours who was a foster family, he said, "Jimmy, how could you not want to do it?" He goes, "It's a kid, man." And
Wow,
Jimmy,
what a way to put it.
Jimmy just kind of looked at him, and I every time something goes wrong, and I use the word wrong, kid stuff.
Yeah, right.
I'll look, because our friend, he has since passed away. I'll look in heaven and I go, "Really, Danny? Thanks a lot." Like I kind of blame him. And it's the best thing that's ever happened. They were the missing key that I didn't know we needed.
Wow.
And they, people will say, "Oh, Rita-Ann, you and Jimmy, you've done so much. They're so lucky to have you." And I said, "You know what? No, I'm lucky.
Wow.
They changed me. They changed how I looked at things.
That's amazing.
Things that I never thought would matter."
Yeah. That's just amazing. Wow. And you get to celebrate Christmas with even more kids.
Yeah.
More presents under the tree.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Wow.
It is pretty
That's-
awesome. And we, like I said earlier, we've always had other people's children in our home.
Yeah.
Right from the time that my oldest was like 6 years old.
Right.
Always. So there was always somebody around. So it just kind of evolved into, this is what we are supposed to do. Everybody has a calling. Everybody has a purpose. And it's funny because my son was 9 before I even considered having another child.
Wow.
So to really learn a lot about myself and travel, because I'm a missionary, my husband and I have adopted, if you will, a little girl with Down syndrome in Guatemala.
Wow.
So
She is going right to heaven. Oh. Oh my God.
So we help fund. It's not a lot of money, but our American money translates so much more to Guatemala.
Absolutely.
So, she is a beautiful little girl with such a smile and a zest for life. And if I can just make something a little bit easier for her, then why not? And it's just kind of like my way of still fostering without having, because let's face it, you can foster this conversation however you need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a navigation.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed that this pageant system, the international system, Mary and Kim have really just opened their heart to me and my feelings of my beliefs and how I look, and that they don't want me to change. I am who I am. And if I was meant to be anybody else or look like anybody else, then God would have made me different.
That's true. That's
You know?
100% true. I say this to all the ladies, use this as the platform for your platform.
Right.
So I've learned so much about this whole process, and you've answered every one of the questions. Medical coverage was one thing. I didn't know that you can just do it for 3 years or 18 months or
Sure.
3 months. I didn't even know any of that. I had no idea that the state of New Jersey funded any of this. I didn't know they took care of the schooling as well.
Absolutely.
I had no idea what the garbage and the bags.
It's just, it's crazy. So much so, I was still a full-time working parent when Edward and Olivia came. So I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I work at a hospital. I start work at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So my sons were able to help. And my husband worked locally, as he still does. He would drop the children off at days,
Is he like a
pre-K.
karate guy? He's a karate guy.
So
right?
he
Like
is.
seven belts, whatever.
Yeah. So he is retired. He does sit on a board for our system. That's how we met. However, he would drive them to daycare, and the state paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. Now, these are the things that people need to know, because
They do need to
those
know
are the
that.
things
And
that you're on the fence about. How am I going to do this?
Exactly. And like so there are people out there who can totally just take a child and, from a financial standpoint, not worry about it.
Right.
But, for example, that doesn't work out for you. Now they need to go someplace else. That family might not be able to do it. So that's why it's all set up.
Right.
And
That's a great
they get
point.
free lunches at the school, everything.
That's great.
And they deserve it because they're considered a single household. They're their own person. They're their own family,
Wow.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is.
Wow, they're
You
lucky
know?
to have you and Jimmy.
And like I said, I
Yeah.
am blessed to have them. They, it's a total learning curve, being this age and having a 13-year-old and a girl, because it's totally different
Yeah.
than boys.
Oh, I have a daughter. I know.
Oh, so you get it.
Yeah.
And but she teaches me something about myself every day. I look at things a little bit differently. Edward is so good, and he's such a help, and you would never know that we just didn't have them ourselves.
Right.
Olivia has a white birthmark on her leg, and it's noticeable because she has, a very beautiful mocha-colored skin. And I looked and I said, "Oh my goodness, what is that?" And she didn't know. And I said, "I know what that is." I said, "That's me." And she said, "What do you mean?" And I lifted up my arm and I said, "I have a brown one."
Wow.
I said, "This is how God knew we were supposed to be together."
Wow.
And she looked at me. I said, "That's a piece of me, and this is a piece of you, and that's how God found us." And so she just always said, especially when she was little, "Mom, where's your puzzle? Where's your puzzle?"
That's
You know?
amazing.
Yeah.
That is,
So-
I always end the podcast with a question, and the question's about legacy. I don't think I need to even ask you
Really?
about this question, because everybody listening and watching knows what your legacy is going to be. You're going to be remembered far longer than any of the people that I've ever met in my life, with the exception maybe of Walt Disney. But that's
right?
a big
Seriously,
thing.
that's a big, yeah.
That's a big, shoot a fit, but Phil. But let me tell you, your legacy is going to live on and on and on and on and on.
And I do hope that, if nothing else, the children that I gave birth to know that we did this because we, as a family, needed to make the world a better place.
Wow,
And-
and you did.
And I feel that because it came time where they said, the agency, do you want to adopt? Because if you want to adopt, then we're going to keep going. If you don't, we need to know, because we need to move
Right.
them to an adoptive home. So Jim and I talked about it, and it was Christmas. And our 3 oldest children, we talked to them, and they were like, no, we're going to be the Fabulous 5. No. But then when we said, listen, if you don't want to adopt them, they're going to move. Within the next few days, they're going to move to an adoptive home so that they can learn their ways and
Yeah.
go through the motions of whatever. And our children were like, no, you can't. No. You mean you're going to give them away?
So the Fabulous 5 was you and Jimmy, and
And
them
the three- the
not
three
the
of-
Fabulous 5 of the 5 kids.
Correct.
Oh, that's where I
Yeah.
missed that. Oh,
And
okay.
I said,
Wow.
no, then we have to be the Super 7.
Mm.
You know?
Wow.
So they all were like, no, you can't my number 3 son said, no, mom, no, they have to stay. And he was probably the hardest one that was like, no, because he doesn't, who likes change? Who doesn't, he's the baby of the family. Now you have 2 more,
Right.
who at that point were very fragile and if you would needy.
Yeah.
But again, back to New Jersey, they still provide mental health counseling to post-adoptive counseling because it's ebbs and flows.
Yeah, you're right.
So we can all have it, all of us.
Yeah.
And you guys too,
That's
and,
right.
and it's important that people know that you just, even if you don't want to take a child for the whole time, how about a respite? Just give a foster mom a week off.
Yeah.
Just give her a break.
It's amazing. Wow, I want to honor you, Rita. You
Thank
are
you.
an amazing
Not
woman.
necessary, but
no,
thank you.
You absolutely,
It's not
you and your
yeah.
family and what you've done, and maybe one day I could see and meet all your kids. That would be great.
It would be awesome.
That would be great.
I think that they would love to be on here.
So what can we do to get people to learn more about, fostering?
So every state is different, but every county is pretty much the same. So what I would suggest would be to go on your local county website. You can Google DCP&P of Monmouth or DCP&P of Essex, wherever you live, and reach out to the person who does the Get to Know seminar, because there are classes that you have to take. There are state inspections,
Of course, right.
to make sure it's safe. You have a lot of people in and out of your home. They will know more than you care to know about you, but that's just to keep the child safe.
Of course.
Yep. And they're coming from an unsafe place, so they want to make sure that they put
Yeah.
the child in a safe spot. So you have to navigate through a bunch of paperwork, and you have to navigate through some classes. And my husband and I, up until COVID, would speak at class 8, and that was about discipline, because I run a tight ship. I was raised by a single Italian Catholic mom, so
That's like a nun.
it was so we were strict, but it was we knew our boundaries, and that's what fortunately what my worker Marcella she said the children need boundaries and they thrive for that, even though they might fight you on it. They need that the continuity and the consistency and just what's next. What's
Right.
this? My son Edward, the one who is going to be 16. He's a Y guy. Why? He's studying engineering. He wants to be a forensic engineer.
Wow.
He goes to a specialty high school. He wants to go to college because he wants to know why. Why did that bridge fall apart? Why did this happen?
Wow. That's
But
great.
you can take your past, why, and you can make why.
Right.
Like why? Why did that happen? Let's figure it out.
Right. And that fixes things for the future.
Yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rita-Ann Schmick, thank you
you
so very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.